In Dashboard is where you can enter values, print the graphs, print the reports, and you can do many things. There is actually a lot of things. In a simple overview video, I'm going to touch on several topics, and I will come back and then just detail some of the individual topics later on in separate videos. So make sure you click on Dashboard. Of course, you should have at least one company here at the top. If there are more than one company in your database, you can click here and switch to a different company, and then of course the data will change. There is a selection box here under the company. To start, make sure you select all statistics. What this does is it lists below all the statistics that have been created for this particular company. The order, we can go over that a bit later. The idea is that right here it doesn't matter who the statistic is assigned to, it doesn't matter what type of statistic it is, everything is going to be listed here by default. So click on one where you can see some data. On the right side here there is a panel, the statistic entry panel, where you can enter values. Now sometimes this panel will be hidden. Sometimes it will look like this. You can see on the right side here that there are different buttons. When you hover with the mouse, there's a panel that pops up. When you move away, it folds back again. If any of those here, the battle plans, the conditions, the documents, or the change logs are open, you'll see there's different tabs here at the top with battle plans, for example. For now, just hide it. Just click on the little push pin here and it will fold the panel in the margin. Then open statistic entry if it's not open by hovering with the mouse, and click on the little push pin icon. This is the one you want to have open. At the top, make sure you are on the Home tab as well. So to enter a value, we're going to start with values by statistics. That's pretty easy. In the same way that here we selected all statistics and all the active statistics are listed, when you select values by statistic, make sure you select in the pull-down menu here all statistics I have rights to. That way you're not going to limit yourself. And when you do that, you will see a list which is more or less the same as the list you have here on the left. As you can see, I selected here patient visits. It's not automatically showing me the data for that statistic, so if I want to enter a new number in patient visits, I'll have to click on the second pull down menu and look up that little statistic name. There is a calendar here. You can see already by looking at this, in my case, this is a daily statistic. It is set up to receive an entry on a daily basis. So it looks like my data here was entered for the last time on August the 3rd. Because it's daily, the first thing I'm going to do here is to change my period to daily. And when I do that, very often the dates here will change. If you want to go back to viewing your data, the date here in this little control is the last date on the right side of the horizontal axis. And the number 13 means I am looking at 13 values. To be more precise, 13 periods. My period being a day, I'm looking at 13 days. So what I can do is just click on the calendar and go a bit back in time. In this case, I guessed it, but normally if you start, you will have data there. And right now what I'm looking at is the daily values I've entered. I can see that the last one here is August the 3rd. So let me scroll up here until I see those dates. To enter a value, you click on the date. This line here, the white, there is a field that becomes white. That's the value field. Let's say I have here a value of 7. I'm going to enter a 7. click on Save, and the program will graph it automatically. Okay? To delete it, you just click on it again, delete it, click on Save. You can of course enter multiple values and then only click on Save. So this field is interesting if you have a backlog. For example, I have patient visits over several weeks and I want to enter different values. Or I have an Excel file or something electronic and I can select different values for different dates, make a right click and copy paste them directly from Excel or from a Google Docs document. Okay? If you have a lot of statistics, it will not be easy to have to go to one, enter a value, then go to the other, enter another value, and so on. So if you want to enter on one specific date, let's say your week ending day, all the values for all the statistics, instead of using values by statistic, use values by period. Click on values by period. Here again, click on all statistic I have rights to, and you will see here a list of posts and a list of statistics. For each post, there are different statistics. If you don't see the post, you can also uncheck this box here, and they will not be grouped by post, but just listed. Okay? It doesn't change the values or the way to enter the data. So in this case, let's say we're on August the 4th and I want to enter values for all my statistics. I'll just pick that date. And now I can enter a value for letters out, the values for patient visits, and a value for the collections. When I click on Save, it will update all of those graphs automatically. With these icons here, you can change the display of the graph, the form. For when you hover with the mouse over it, it will tell you what it does. In this case, it'll make it in a landscape. So let's say, for example, I would like to see my whole year's activity, but weekly. My graph is right now set up daily. If I hover over any dot, it will tell me what the value is on that particular day. If I want to view the total of the week, all I need to do is change the daily to weekly, and now the program will tally the values automatically. And if I hover with the mouse on one specific dot, I will see the total of that week ending. So in this case, the week ending on July the 6th has a total of 52 values, and in that box I can see the breakdown. Where do these values come from? Of course, you can go all the way up to yearly. I'm going to keep it like this. I had changed my scaling, that's why you don't see all the graphs, but that's just for the purpose of this video. If I wanted to see the whole year of 2017, assuming I have data for 2017, I could change this and, for example, position myself on the last day of 2017. Like this. And if I'm looking at my data weekly, there are 52 weeks in a year. So now, again, it's not very pretty because I have changed the scaling, but you can see that at the bottom scale here, the year will run from December 2016 until December 2017. I'm going to revert to a more classic view, and I'm going to switch to today. That way I will see some data, and here I would have liked to put 13. There we go. I can also scroll up or down 1 week at a time with those little eye arrows here. To print a graph, all you need to do is click on Print. If you have more than one graph visible, you will be able to change portrait, landscape, and it'll change at the bottom right here how many graphs you want to print on a page. So let's say I had 4 graphs visible. If I selected this option here, then I would be able to select all the 4 graphs and print them on one page. The last part is you can change here in this little box which types of graphs and how many graphs you're looking at. For example, if I look at my patient visits, I can see it's assigned to the front desk and Jenna is the person working at that post. Are there other statistic graphs for front desk? Well, I can click on posts. Then I will see the list of posts. There is nothing for the owner, but I was looking at Jenna. Let's go to the front desk post, and you will see that the program automatically graphs all the statistic graphs available for that post. I could also go by employee if I wanted to see it for somebody else, let's say Candice. I could go to employees, select Candice, and I will see that particular graph. If I select Jenna, I'll see those two graphs again. That is in a nutshell how you can browse and use most of the features in Dashboard.